Come on. Good Wednesday afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the 2020 Student Council Executive Board Candidate Forum. We're very excited to be here with 9 of our 10 candidates running for office for your student body, and those votes will be opening on Friday. But before we get to Friday's big contest, we wanted to give everybody a chance to introduce themselves to you, to tell you what they're running for, and to also answer some questions that are pertinent to their jobs. Now, they are not aware of the questions that they will be asked. They are hearing them for the very first time tonight. There will be time limits on those questions. They will have a certain amount of time to answer, and they will be cut off if they hit that time limit. So while you're watching, please take in this information. Please let it guide you on your voting duties on Friday, and we hope to see a great turnout for that. In the meantime, I'm going to introduce the advisor for Unicoi County High School's Student Council, Ms. Elizabeth Watson. She is here tonight to moderate this event, and I also want to turn it over to her so that she can then introduce the candidates and let them introduce themselves. So, Ms. Watson, it is all yours.
Hi guys, if you do not know who I am, I'm Ms. Watson. At the high school I teach English, and I'm also over student council, which is a wonderful group of kids, about 60 to 70 right now. So we have 10 candidates running for our executive board. And what our executive board, we just say e-board, they are over the student body. And we also have class officers, but these 5 positions, president, vice president, secretary, treasurer, and historian, represent the entire high school. We do have someone who is missing. They were not able to attend this due to a prior engagement, Matthew Sutphin, and he is running for treasurer as well. And he is not able to be here, but he is an upcoming senior, has been a class officer multiple years, and you can find his speech online, which I am pretty sure is on the website posted. If not, that information will be given out again. But first, the way the questions will work is I'm going to start with historians alphabetically and then work our way up to president. So first, I'm going to introduce our 3 historians, which are Rachel Altimos, Megan Buskey, and Savannah Sparks. And Rachel, you can go ahead and introduce yourself.
Okay, hi everybody, it's Rachel Altimos, and I'm a rising senior this year, and I'm running for the position of Executive Board Historian. So a historian's main job is to take pictures of all the events student council is involved in, which is really fun. And last year I served as Executive Board Historian, and I made a scrapbook that we enter into Tennessee statewide student council convention, and it actually placed 3rd place. And I really just want the opportunity to serve on the executive board again and capture this next year's memories. And I just would really like the opportunity. So thank you.
All right. Our next candidate for historian is Miss Megan Buskey.
Hey guys. Hey guys, my name is Megan Buskey and I'm running for historian. I've been sophomore vice president, but I've never served on e-board before, so I figured this would be the perfect chance for senior year. Like Rachel said, historians are supposed to capture every moment of the upcoming year and create a scrapbook at the end. And I've been involved in art for all 4 years, so I figured it would be a perfect opportunity to try.
All right, and our last candidate running for historian for e-board is Miss Savannah Sparks.
Hi all, I'm Savannah Sparks and I'm running for historian. I've been freshman and sophomore vice president, and as Megan said, the historian's job is to take pictures and capture the whole year and make a scrapbook, and I would love the opportunity to do that.
All right, so those are our 3 candidates for historian, and we'll hear more from them in a little bit. Our next position is treasurer, which this is the position that I said Mr. Matthew Sutphin is not able to attend the meeting. So currently we're just going to hear from Miss Ashley Edwards. So if you want to introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Ashley and I'm running for treasurer again. I was treasurer of eBoard for the past 2 years and it's something I really love to do. which is managing the account and mainly raising money for student council to use in all of our events. One of my favorites that we've done in the past couple of years is the yard sale we did last July, and we actually placed third place at SASC, which is the Southern Conference, third place for best fundraising project, and that was probably my favorite memory as treasurer. And I just love doing what I do so much that I want to continue to do it for the last time, and that's basically why I'm running again. I love what I do.
All right. And our next position is Secretary of eBoard, which is actually unopposed this year. So Miss Shelby Miller will take that position, but we still want to hear from her. So if you will introduce yourself to us.
Hi, I'm Shelby Miller, and I'm running for eBoard Secretary. I'm involved in many clubs throughout the school, and I'm very excited to have the opportunity to be our secretary this year, and I'm very excited to be more involved in my school and my community. So, yeah.
All right, our next position is Vice President, and we have 2 candidates running for that. And the first candidate that we'd like to hear from is Mr. Where am I at? Javier.
What's up, y'all? It is Javier Mejia Castellon Villanueva, and I am running for Vice President. And I've held a lot of leadership positions over the years in different clubs like Camera Club, Drama Club, Key Club, and even Student Council. And along the way, I've sort of learned the Vice President role pretty well, if I say so myself. So I would really appreciate your vote for me and McQueen. And if you vote for us, you'll make UCHS a full house.
All right, our next candidate for Vice President is Daniel Schultz.
Hi, I'm Daniel Schultz, and I'm also running for Vice President for eBoard. And Vice President does a lot of the paperwork for things like TASC. And I was actually around helping Zach with all the forms that we did. I only did a couple, but I was actually around for those. I did a lot of work last year, my junior year of Student Council, and I was also in Camera Club whenever I didn't do anything as a club, and it didn't work out. But yeah, that's about what I've done, so thanks.
And our final position is President, of course, and we have 2 candidates for that, Ethan and Trent. So we are going to hear from Ethan first.
Hey, what's up, everyone out there? My name is Ethan McQueen, and I'm running for Student Council President this year as an upcoming senior. Student Council is mainly like the main face of Student Council and is the one who interacts with the other clubs and groups at the school and needs to be a good representation of the Student Council body overall. And one of my main things I'm going to work on as a Student Council President is getting lower classmen to interact with the Student Council more and getting Student Council to interact with other clubs more and get them to go to more events and stuff like that.
All right, and our final candidate is Trent White, so we will hear from him.
Hey everybody, I'm Trent White, and I am running for Student Body President. I'll tell you what an honor it is to be able to say that I'm doing that, and I want to thank you all for watching and taking out your time to watch this debate, and thank you to Ms. Watson and Mr. Strait for putting this together. I'm running for Student Body President because I want to make a difference for you and people around you. And that's what I've done the past 3 years as student body parliamentarian, student body secretary, freshman class president. Through all of those roles, I had awesome opportunities to serve you. And what the awesome thing about president is you're a cheerleader for the school. And I'm ready to be that cheerleader. Thank you.
All right, so those are our 9 of 10 of our candidates. So we're going to start with our historians, Rachel, Megan, and Savannah. And I'm going to ask 2 questions. The first question is just kind of blanketed, just in kind of more about themselves and why you should vote for them. And then the second one's going to be more specific to that position. All right, so Rachel, we are going to start with you. So the question I want to ask essentially is real basic. Why is it that the upcoming freshmen through seniors of Unicoi County High School, why should they vote for you? Why do you deserve that position?
Okay, so throughout my years in high school, I've been involved in many clubs, such as Key Club, Student Council, Drama Club, and Beta Club. And I also play sports, and I just like to put my myself into the school as many ways as possible. And I remember my freshman and sophomore year, I always looked up to the historian on eBoard because I thought it was so cool that they were able to take pictures and just capture the whole years. And at the end of the year, we would have a book to look back on. And I remember scrolling through those books my sophomore year, and I was like, I'm going to run for historian. So junior year, this past year, I got the honor to serve on executive board, and it was just so fun. And I had so much fun making the scrapbook with all of eBoard, and I would just really like the chance to do that again because I'm really passionate about it.
All right. Same question to Megan. And again, essentially, why do you deserve to get votes for historian? Why do you think that you would be beneficial to that position?
Well, throughout high school, I think I've changed and grown as a person, and I think that I've really developed my leadership skills through student council, and I think I'm ready to take on a more serious role. And I mean, like Rachel said, we've both been involved in so many clubs like culinary, and I've played tennis, and yeah. And I think that being historian would be rather beneficial to me because not only would I have the chance to take on a bigger leadership role, but also use my creativity to further help student council as well as the entire school.
Thank you. And last but not least, Miss Savannah, same question. Why are you the best choice for historian? What makes you stand out against the other two?
Okay, like Rachel and Megan said, I'm involved in a lot of stuff in the school, many clubs, and I play volleyball, and I'm also involved with the track team. And last year, I got the opportunity to see the historian make the scrapbook, and it looked really, really fun, and it looked like something I would want to do. I want to tell the story of the whole year in a scrapbook and with pictures and stuff.
Great. All right, this question is specific to historian. Where is my question? There it is. Okay, Rachel, we're going to start with you again. All right, so the historian, along with other things, is responsible for creating a scrapbook. It details all the events and responsibilities of our council. Why do you feel that this is a necessary responsibility? Is this something that is needed, or should it be something that looks different for the upcoming school year?
Okay, so I definitely think the role of historian is needed on eBoard. So last year or the year before, we actually made cuts to the executive board where we cut 2 positions that could be added into other people's positions. And I really think historian is an important job because you have to take pictures, and we have to capture all of what student council is doing, from the locker decorating days to helping the community to sporting events to everything that's happening in the school. And there needs to be a designated person to take those pictures. And even if I'm not able to go to every single thing, I make sure to get somebody else to take those pictures and send them to me. And it's important to have something physical to look back on the year on. So I know our scrapbook, when we go back into school, I'll just put it in the student council drawer, and anybody who wants to, they can look at it and they can be like, wow, this school is like our home. Like, we need someone to capture that. So that's why I think the role of historian is really needed on executive board.
Thank you. All right, Megan, same question, and I'll repeat it again for you.
Was that awful?
The historian is, along with other things, responsible for creating a scrapbook that details all events and responsibilities of our council. Why do you feel that this is a necessary responsibility? Is this needed, or should this be something that looks different for our upcoming school year?
I think historian is definitely needed. I mean, like you said, it lists the responsibilities of student council, and although most people know about student council and like everything they do, they don't know all of what we do and how much time and effort we get into, or we take part in. And so being historian and capturing the the smaller details of student council as well as like the bigger details of student council is really important for the entire school to know in order to make our school a better place and also our community.
All right, thank you. And last is Savannah. Same question, and I'll repeat it one more time for you. The historian is, along with other things, responsible for creating a scrapbook that details all events and responsibilities of our council. Why do you feel this is a necessary responsibility? Is this needed, or should this be something that looks different for the upcoming year?
I think it's most definitely needed because I feel like the things that we do in student council aren't always like looked back on. And I feel like taking pictures and showing people like what we do shows them how like important student council is and what we do and how it affects the whole entire school as a whole.
Awesome. All right, so those are our three candidates for historian. Again, Rachel Altimos, Megan Buskey, and Savannah Sparks. All right, so we're going to move on to treasurer, which again, Mr. Matthew Sutphin is not able to attend our meeting. So we're going to hear from Miss Ashley Edwards for this one. All right, Ashley, first question, real basic. Why do you deserve to be the 2020-21 treasurer? Sorry.
I think treasurer is a role where you have to have experience in doing it. And I've been treasurer every single year I've been in student council, even if it's freshman class treasurer or e-board for 2 years. It takes a lot of organizational skills and keeping track of the money you get, because you get physical money. You have to turn it in, you have to log it, you have to get the sheets and log it, individual different projects it goes to. It's just a lot of organizational skills. And I think I'm just a really organized person. I'm good at doing behind the scenes work. And that's a lot of what treasurer does. It's not like out there that people see. It's kind of back in the background. And I think I'm the most qualified to do that.
Great. All right, second question, more specific to that position. Along with other duties, oh wait, wrong question. In the past, we have done very few fundraisers because our SNAP fundraiser and other small things have been very successful. What do you see for our council next year in means of raising money and how we use it?
I think SNAP raise is definitely something we're going to rely on again, because that always works. It always brings in a lot of money. Working the races brings in lots of money too. And I also think we need to redo the yard sale, which that would have to be reworked because of social distancing and coronavirus. I don't know how exactly we would do that, but I definitely want to do that again, maybe even more than once, like at Christmas and then like a summer one or something. I would say that is probably the thing that would work again. I don't have any newer ideas that haven't been done before exactly, but I think what we've been doing has been providing us enough unless we needed more for something bigger. So
awesome. Thank you. And again, our two candidates for treasurer are Matthew and Ashley.
Hey, Miss Watson, I think we might have lost your volume.
Motivated to be excited about this position.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you said.
Yeah, Watson, can you say that again? I think we lost you. Your volume.
Yeah, I saw it said connection unstable.
Yeah, try again.
Essentially, just what made you want to run for secretary since you are unopposed, and why are you so motivated to be on the executive board for the high school?
I wanted to run for secretary because I really wanted to step up in my school and try and have a lasting impact and try and make the best out of what Unicoi County can be. And if I can do that by being secretary, I want to do it. And I'm very excited to be secretary because that's one of the things I pride myself in, is being organized and knowing what's going on. And I'm really excited for this opportunity and to be secretary.
Great. Last question, it's more specific. Along with other duties, secretary is responsible for overseeing attendance at all meetings and events. In past years, we have had issues with attendance at meetings, especially since we don't have the hour lunch anymore. We've had to hold our meetings in the morning at 7:15. What are your thoughts to increase attendance to more meetings for our student council in the upcoming year?
I think making sure everyone knows like that we are having a meeting, like making sure that on our group meet, everyone knows like in all the group chats, like saying this is when we're having our meeting, and it would be very good for you to be there because we're talking about important information about student council.
Awesome. Thank you so much. All right, we're moving on to vice president. So our vice president candidates, we have Javier and Daniel. And we're going to start with Javier. And again, basic questions. Why are you deserving to be vice president of the student body at the high school?
Okay, so like while I've been in high school, I've just been like involved in a lot of different things, I guess you could say. Like I've been involved with big clubs like Stuco, but also smaller clubs that don't always get like the same light, like Routine and like Camera Club. We were like a really small club while that was in existence. But what I want to do and what I mean when I say that I want to make UCHS a full house is to bring all these different groups of people together and sort of break the gap between students, because like, you know, there's a lot of activities that don't get as much light shed on them, like band, like ROTC, like all these little clubs that people sort of feel like outcasts if they're in them. I want to bring them closer together. And I also want to help bridge the gap between students who can't speak English, because whether we realize it or not, there's a lot of students, who can't really speak English. And I know my sophomore year, Mr. Higgins tried to do something where they get matched up with a person who does speak English to try to create a friendship there so that they don't feel left out. And I want to bring aspects like that to every part of the high school, like not just certain, like everything. And I'm also prepared. I've held a lot of leadership positions throughout the years. And yeah, that's why you should vote for me.
Awesome. All right, my second question, and I think Daniel mentioned it earlier. So vice president, which you're aware, they are also responsible for organizing all the paperwork for TASE, SASE, and workshop, which our current vice president, Zach Thompson, did a phenomenal job at. It really just alleviates the stress and workload on all the other things going on. So, and you have to be extremely organized. So my question is, how are you going to handle all those things along with your classes and things like that?
So a lot of things go into like TASC, like all that paperwork. And Zach did a really good job at handling it. But I think something that could help, especially nowadays, most people have access to technology, is if we digitize a lot of the paperwork. Like, you know, there's some things that you have to mail into TASC, there's some things that you have to mail into SASC, but maybe smaller projects, smaller things that sort of aren't as wide scale as TASC. I think that we can sort of just focus on making Google Forms maybe, or sending out like polls and stuff like that, to limit the amount of actual paperwork and just put it on like a digital form, if that makes sense.
Definitely, that does. All right, thank you. So our next candidate for vice president is Daniel. So Daniel, basic question again, why is it that you deserve the position of vice president for next year for your student body?
Well, in my past year, my junior year, I've done a lot of work for student council, like different tasks, from fundraising to actually helping Zach do some of this paperwork, and a lot of it is online work. And so a lot of the work I helped him do. And so I'm experienced in it. I know what it takes, and I can help others understand it better. So I think I would be a great vice president.
Awesome. And again, my question to you more specifically is, how are you going to handle the organization of all the paperwork that goes with TASC, SASC, and workshop, 3 major trips that we partake in every year?
And again, I got to see a lot of the work that does go into filling out this work, and I got to do some of the work. And a lot of it was a team effort. And Zach he came to school early, and he stayed after school all the times, which I will be having to do. And he got a lot of it done by himself, which I'm willing to do. I think making it a team effort is also a big deal for e-board and student council as a whole. And everyone wanting to go on these trips, I think we can come together and mainly fill out a lot of this work.
Awesome. Thank you. All right. So again, our candidates for vice president are Javier and Daniel. Finally, our last position, president. We have Ethan McQueen and Trent White, and we're going to start with Ethan. So Ethan, my first question, just like I've asked everybody else, why is it that you deserve to be executive board president over UCHS?
Well, I've been involved in, I guess, like several different aspects of the student body, like band, the technical clubs at school, the different like gaming clubs at school, the different board game clubs at school, and I've been involved in student council for a while. And of course, in all those clubs, I've helped raise fundraisers. Like for the band, I've got instruments donated to them from different organizations. Of course, I've helped get technical equipment ready for like our skills groups and everything. And I did do some fundraising for student council as well. And so I do think that would help. And even though I'm not seen as commonly as some people here out in public, I do usually help kids with tutoring one-on-one at kids' house and stuff like that. So I feel like I have a good connection with some kids who are more shy in student body, and I could help better represent them in the overall student body.
Awesome. Okay, and my second question, it's not necessarily as pinpointed for president, but it's just as important. I want to know, so as president, it's more than just reading the announcements on a daily basis. You need to know the school and the students. So how well do you know the student body, and how are you involved in the school, which you spoke on earlier, but kind of go into more detail, like how is it that you will be that main representation of our student council, our voice, and our entire student body?
Of course, yeah, like one of the main things I want to bring up is that I know a lot of people here say they've been involved in clubs and stuff like that, but I've tutored kids one-on-one, helped them with their issues and stuff like that. And I know that doesn't get commonly seen, but I feel like that's an important point for me to make of like, knowing, because they're more shy kids, they're not involved in clubs as much, but I still think their voice matters as much in student council as anyone else's would and stuff like that, and overall in the student body. And of course, I've been involved in band. I've been involved in the technical clubs at the CTE, and I've been involved in like chess club at school and stuff like that. And I've been involved in over those a lot in general. And so I think I have a good representation from the different points of view at school. You have, well, I've also been involved in a sports club like tennis. So, I've been involved in the tennis ones, band, CTE clubs, board games, and it's just like esports in general. I've been involved in all those. And so I think that'd make me a good representation of overall.
Absolutely. Thank you, Ethan. All right. And last but not least, Trent. Basic question. Why do you deserve votes? Why should people vote for you for president on executive board?
Because I'm the best. No, I'm just kidding. That's a joke. No, it's a joke. Everybody in this, I will say this, that everybody in this group chat is extremely capable of executing the job that they're applying for. Everyone here can do the job and will get it done. And so I'm not worried about that. I'm just extremely excited to be able to reach out to more people as your next student body president. And I think that deserving the office isn't really how I feel about it. It's something that I've thought about for a really long time because I love people and I want to make a difference in people's lives, because there are people in this school that still feel left out. We haven't really met the criteria for being an uber welcoming school yet, and I think that we're going to bridge that gap when you elect me as your next president.
Awesome. All right, and that final question again, which I think we've all kind of touched on, but how well do you know the student body, and how are you involved in the school? What, like I said earlier, it's more than just you reading those announcements every day and putting that on your resume for colleges. What makes you able to be a voice for the student body?
I think that I would be a very good voice for the student body because I've done it for the past 3 years in high school. I've been in some of the same clubs since my freshman year: FBLA, tennis, mock trial, the student council being the biggest club that I've been a part of, and Key Club, and just so many different organizations that have allowed me to come closer to the student body and kids that are just so different from one another, people that, you would never think you would be friends with, but you end up being so close to them just because of all of these different organizations. And student council is just like that. And as your next president, I'm going to make sure that happens.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Okay, so I do want to ask one more question to everybody, and I'll repeat it if you need me to. If you need me to, just ask. But we're going to start back again with Rachel, historian to president. So we'll start with Rachel. The past 2 months in our school, community, state, nation, world have been unprecedented. We are in this pandemic, and we haven't been able to have school like we all want to. We are on virtual learning. We are having virtual meetings left and right. It's just very different. And of course, our main hope and goal is to be able to go back in August, hit the ground running, and be back together. So my question is connected to that. How do you see UCHS as a whole and our student council? How are we going to bounce back from that? How are we going to bounce back from not being physically with each other for the past 2 months and over the summer? So we're ready to go in August.
Okay, so actually, I think our student council has done a really good job because a lot of the students that haven't been involved with student council have been taking action on their own. So I know a lot of different people that have been involved with student council have been helping during the pandemic, helping people. And I know that student council, people that are involved in student council have been still having to do their responsibilities. Like I still made the scrapbook and we entered that. So I really think that if we go back in August, which I really hope we do, it'll just resume as normal because we've been keeping in contact with each other the best that we can. We've been doing our responsibilities. We've been having meetings. We've been doing all the stuff that we need to do to be prepared when we get back to school. And when we get back to school, I feel like we'll be able to bounce right back into it. I don't think it'll be any problem at all if we just pick up where we left off.
Thank you. All right, Megan, same question. Do you need me to repeat it, or are you okay with answering it?
I think I'm okay. I think that student council is a pretty determined group of kids. I mean, I think if we set our mind to something, then we can almost always meet the goal or at least attempt to meet it. And so I think that when we come back in August, hopefully, that I think we'll still let all the students know that we support them and we support the student council and all the other clubs. And we're determined to make sure that this next school year is going to be not making up for this past one, but maybe better than ever.
Awesome. Savannah, same question to you.
Super hard to make sure the whole school is involved and having fun. And I think that because of the coronavirus pandemic, that we'll be even more driven where we haven't been able to be in like close contact with each other we'll be more driven to make sure everybody does get involved. And I think that people who haven't gotten involved in the past will, because they'll see how important it is to be around with people and get involved in stuff.
Absolutely. All right, moving on to treasurer, which again, Matthew Sutphin is not able to be here. He is running as well. He is an upcoming senior, and you can watch his speech online as well before we vote on Friday. So Ashley, I'm going to turn it over to you. Same question.
Can you repeat the question?
Yeah. So the past 2 months, we haven't been physically in school together, which has been hard on a lot of people. Teachers, we want to be in our classrooms. Students want to be there. Sports have been canceled. Prom, graduation. It's just been a crazy, not just our community, but our entire nation. How do you think student council and our school as a whole, how are we going to be able to bounce back come August if we're able to be there together again? What's that going to look like?
I think because all the students and everyone involved, the entire world has had to experience this. I think everything that we do in our normal lives before the coronavirus will be more cherished by every single person. And I think that'll drive the students to be more involved and to work harder than ever and definitely cherish every single moment they have in school. And I think that that's how student council especially will be. Every person will cherish every moment they have in student council.
Absolutely. Okay, so we're going to move on to secretary, which is Miss Shelby. Again, she is unopposed for that position, but same question. What's it going to look like in August? How are we going to bounce back? What do you think how's it going to feel in the school?
I feel like with everyone coming back to school, they're going to have a newfound appreciation for school, from like having to do online classes and having to be away from friends. I feel like they're going to have a new appreciation for like going to school, and they're going to want to get involved and do things. And we need, as student council, need to be there and say, join student council. It's a great way to get involved in your school. And I feel like that's going to be a very important part of coming back to our next school year.
Definitely. Thank you so much. All right, moving on to vice president with Javier. Same question. If you need me to repeat it, I will, but whenever you're ready.
So, as everybody has already said, we haven't been able to really like see our best friends or our classmates for like the past 2 months. And I think that it's really placed like a burden on everybody, but at the same time, it's sort of shown everybody just how similar we are. Like, it doesn't matter who you are, you have to like stay in your house, you know? And I think that's sort of built like this level of like, dang, we really aren't that different among all of us. And I also think that that's made people more motivated to create these friendships and these good relationships that are going to last a lifetime, you know. And I just think that StuCo has always been really good at helping students connect. So I don't see why not. I don't see why we wouldn't just continue that trend and even hopefully grow to help connect all these students who, when they come back to school, they're going to realize like, dang, we really are the same.
Thank you so much. All right, Daniel, you are up. Same question.
Well, I've been trying to keep the student council spirit alive ever since school did close. And when it comes to August, I'm not sure if everyone's just going to connect right away. I think it's going to be our jobs to make sure people have a way to connect and give them all the awesome events that come in the fall. And it's going to be up to us to find out maybe even new ways if we have to introduce these events.
Thank you. And final office is president. And again, that's Ethan and Trent. And we're going to start with Ethan. What's August going to look like? Is it going to be a smooth transition, bumps along the road? What do you think?
I think it'll be a bumpy transition back to school, just because we've all been separated for so long. I know when I was a freshman, it was already hard enough for me to find clubs in school and everything, as I didn't really know that many high schoolers. And so it was already hard enough. And I couldn't imagine, the last 2 months, when all the clubs are advertising, being out of school, how hard it would be to join a club. And so my idea would be the juniors and seniors would, team up. They'd find a partner, like a freshman partner, and they would help them join clubs. And they could, even though they have cars and stuff like that, they'd become buddies. They could help them, give them rides to different clubs and different events at school, because I know that when I was a freshman coming in, especially, it was extremely hard for me to find find new clubs. And I couldn't imagine how difficult it's going to be for clubs to recruit, especially since they've been out of school the past 2 months and stuff like that. And I think this has placed a huge burden on the clubs. And so I think this buddy system would help fix the clubs and help connect them back together.
Thank you so much. All right. And again, last but not least, Trent, same question. After August.
Yeah, for sure. I think that everybody, has the same consensus that we want to go back to normal and that we want to get people ready and connected. But I think that we can do so much more than that, in the sense that every one of us has a new perspective. We have a new mindset in our brains, and we can realize such potential that we have in the fall, because we didn't all realize that fateful day in March that it was going to be our last. And I know that I, as your next president, and everyone else is going to live like it's our last day at school, because we never know how quickly it can go away. And so it's extremely important that when we go back this August, that we are ready to make a difference, that we are ready to change how things are being done and change society.
Thank you so much. Mr. Street does have one question, surprise question before, but I do want to say, when Trent said that the group that is on here plus Matthew are all capable of the jobs they are vying for, couldn't have been said better. I could not be more proud to be an advisor of a group of kids. The things they've done while we've been out, since March 16th have been phenomenal. I'm super proud of every kid that I'm associated with in student council, and I will be lucky to work with any of them for eBoard. So after that, Dustin, I will turn it over to you to ask your question.
Well, I would just like to echo that sentiment right off the bat. I'll keep it as brief as I can. We just have a few minutes left, but I have really enjoyed getting to be a part of all of this for the last few years and getting to know all of you all and going on trips with all of you guys. And honestly, I have seen just unbelievable levels of leadership and success, and the example that you guys set for your peers at the school is just really impressive to me. And I don't know, you guys give me just a lot of hope for the future of our whole world, really. And I hope that young people all over look at things the way you all look at things, and that you'll never lose that sense of justice and equality and kindness, and just the way that all of you look at things and work together with each other. And that's sort of where my question is going. My question is to everybody, but I'm going to call on you guys individually. We'll go in the same order, and I just want you to take 30 seconds or less and give me a quick answer here. What legacy do you want to leave as a student leader? When people think of your name, what do you want them to remember about you? And I am going to start with Rachel.
When I leave the high school, I want people to think of me and think of how I always talk to everybody. As you guys know, I'm involved in many different groups and sports for that matter. And I just try to make everybody feel welcome. I talk to everybody. I don't let anything stop me from talking to people. And I'm really proud of myself for that. I've really come out of my comfort zone in high school. And I really just want people to remember me as she's the girl that would talk to everybody, even if a person was not lonely, or if they were alone, I would be the person to go talk to them. So that's really what.
All right, time is up on that one. All right, Megan, it is your turn.
I really want people to understand how hardworking I am. And right now, currently my legacy is, oh, she's the smart girl, and oh, she does everything and perfect. And I want people to understand that I've had to work hard to get where I am, and I want them to understand that if they work hard enough, they can get anything done.
All right, thank you, Megan. And then that's going to move us on to Savannah, if I can get her unmuted.
When I leave high school, I want people to think of me as the person that they could always come to, the person that would never leave anybody out, that would include everyone. And I just want to be that person that people feel like they can talk to.
Okay, excellent. And now we will move on to Ashley.
I think I want people to remember me for the changes that I've went through from the 4 years. I never would have thought in 8th grade that I would be talking to hundreds of people at one point in time, or public speaking or something. I want to be remembered for opening up and getting involved, and then letting yourself grow more.
Okay, excellent. And now we'll move on to Miss Shelby.
I want to leave a legacy of kindness. I want people to say that when they were down, I was there for them and I helped them. I want to be someone who helps people. I want to be remembered for that. And I want to be remembered for always being kind and just being there for people. So, yeah.
All right. And then now we will head over to Javier.
All right. When I leave high school, I just want to be remembered as a role model. I want people to look at me and be like, dang, if he did that, then that means I can do that too. Because I know growing up, I looked up to people who were in leadership positions in Stuco. My 8th grade year, Samuel and Christian, they were in Stuco, heavily involved in the school. And that made me think well, dang, if they can do that, I can do that too. So I just want to give that same sort of lead to people who are younger.
All righty, thank you. And now we'll move over to Mr. Daniel Schultz.
I want people to remember me as friendly and a hard worker. And I want people to think back and think, oh, back in 2020, that's the guy that won vice president on eBoard. And that's just the legacy I want to leave behind me.
All right. And now we'll move over to our presidential candidates. Ethan, you are up first.
Of course, I want people to remember me in general as an open and kind person, and but I also want there to be a specific group of people who remember me for helping them with their homework or helping them with an emotional problem they had or any kind of struggle they had personally. I do want there to be a certain group that remembers me like that. And like always in general, since a lot of people are going to see this, if any of you have problems, whether it be math or emotional, you're always free to message me on social media, and I'll help you out because it's the kind of person I want to be remembered as.
Okay. And finally, Mr. Trent White.
I think above all things, I want to be known as somebody who is humble. I think that leadership is being humble and putting others before yourselves, and then rather than looking down at people and pulling them up, getting under them and pushing them up. I think that's what's important in leadership, and that's the legacy that I want to leave behind.
All right. Thank you very much, Trent. Thank you, everybody, for answering that question. Before I turn it back over to Ms. Watson to get you guys going on your closing statements, I do just want to remind everybody watching this debate, the election will be open from 12 noon to 5 p.m. on Friday, May the 15th. So you have a couple of days to watch this and to mull over your choices. The website that you'll need to go to for that is unicoischools.com/UCHS Stuco. That website is available on Google Classroom. Some of your teachers have been pushing it out. It's also been pushed out on Facebook. So hopefully you know how to get on and how to access that vote. We have opened up voting to current 8th graders for the first time this year so that they can actually participate and elect the leaders that will represent them when they're in the high school next year. So all of that information aside, I will toss it back over to Ms. Watson to close us out.
All right, thanks. Final closing statements. This is it. This is your push. Again, any of these candidates would be phenomenal at your job. And again, I do want to remind you for the 5th time that we do have another candidate running for treasurer, Mr. Matthew Sutphin. He could not be here, but please, please, please go watch his speech, all of their speeches online, and you can see their photos. And remember just kind of what Mr. Street said, vote. Let your voice be heard, vote. All right, and we will start with Rachel.
60-second time limits on these guys, 60 seconds.
Yes, closing statement whenever you're ready.
Okay, I just wanted to close by saying thank you to everybody who's watching this and listening to every candidate to say what they have to offer. And this year, I really want the opportunity to serve as historian again. I made so many memories last year with so many great people, and it's great to look back and see that we have all of last year's memories in a scrapbook. And just please allow me to tell next year's story in pictures by voting me for historian. Thanks.
Oh, I'm up. Megan, you are up.
Oh, sorry, Megan.
Wanted...
Start over.
It's okay.
All right, you're good now.
Okay, this is my senior year, and I really want to make it memorable, and I'm pretty passionate about making it memorable, and when you're passionate, you tend to work harder. So I really want to really make sure this year is better than ever and really end my high school career with being on e-board and stepping up as a leader in our school.
Thank you. And our final candidate for historian is Savannah.
I would just like to close and say thank you to everybody who took their time to watch this debate. Everyone is an amazing candidate, but I personally would love to be your historian and tell the story of our next school year in pictures and make the scrapbook. Thank you.
Thanks. So our next position is treasurer, and we're going to go with Ashley.
Thank you for everyone for watching this video and taking time out of your day to hear what we have to say. And student council can't function without that inner working, that inside person managing and holding onto the money and making sure everything runs smoothly. And I think I have the most experience doing it for the past 2 years. So I just ask for you to vote for me one last time for student body treasurer.
Great. And secretary position is Miss Shelby Miller, unopposed.
Hey, I am very excited for this upcoming year, and I think there's so many things that we can all do as a group and come together to work on to make our school even better, and I want to be a part of that. And I think by being secretary, that will help me really be a part of like my community and my school. So yeah, vote for me.
Thank you. And our two candidates for vice president are Javier and Daniel, and we will start with Javier.
So yeah, guys, to wrap up, I just really want to push the point that my main goal is to create a closer student body, more friendships, more relationships that are meaningful, and make UCHS a full house. And to close, I'm going to use a very iconic line by a man, Steven Suge. I'm not asking you to vote for me. I'm asking you to check the box beside my name. Thank you.
And Daniel Schultz.
Well, first off, thank you, Mr. Street and Miss Watson, for organizing this and helping us do this. And I just want to say, eBoard's supposed to be filled with hardworking people, and I know I can be one of the 5 slots on there that's going to be a hardworking person. And I want student council to last beyond me. And no matter what happens, I'm going to try to make that happen. I want student council to last for a while, at least. So, yeah.
All right, and our final position is president, and we have Ethan and Trent, and we will start with Ethan.
I just want to wrap up with my final point of getting the freshmen and sophomores more involved, like the juniors and seniors are, with several clubs, and getting them into more leadership positions, by introducing my buddy system. And I just want to conclude that no matter who wins any of these positions, I know that student council will continue being a great and excellent body. So I'd like to welcome all the 8th graders and freshmen to the upcoming year, no matter who wins.
And finally, Mr. Trent White.
Well, this is so awesome. If you guys are still watching this by the end of this thing, I mean, you're total G's. But again, my name is Trent White, and I'm running for student body president with Daniel Schultz as your next vice president. And we want you to vote for us because we've proven leadership, and we've worked hard, and we've accomplished a lot of things, and we've done things when nobody else would. And I'm extremely excited for Friday. I'm extremely excited for the rest of the week. And I'm extremely excited for everyone else in this chat, in the debate, because everyone here, they're leaders, and you're gonna be good, UCHS.
All right, so please remember, go vote Friday. Go to the link. If you need to hear what it is again, rewind the video if you can do that. But vote Friday, noon to 5 p.m. Thanks, guys.
All right. Thank you all for joining us tonight. Thank you, candidates, for being here. We are so appreciative of everything that you do for the school. We're very excited to get a new school year going. Once again, just before we sign off, unicoischools.com/UCHS Stuco. Voting opens at 12 noon on Friday and closes at 5. Thank you for joining us tonight, and we'll see you soon.